Alright. Are we live? Are we live from the 5? What's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing Team Kings of Games. And today I got some duels. I'm just going to do one of them for this video. You know, I'll keep doing more separately. But this one, I was testing my SHADDOLL list on DB. Just kind of getting some duels in, testing other lists too. Because there's so many lists to test, sometimes it can be a bit tedious. You know, and you have so many decks from so many profiles, and you want to test more to get more duels. Just to be able to upload them, it can sometimes be a bit tedious. For SHADDOLLs, I think it's a bit less tedious because I just love this deck so much. It's more fun and enjoyable to play. This duel I'm showcasing to you guys today is going to be SHADDOLLs versus Sky Strikers. So let's go ahead and just press play. And I think I won a dice roll, I'm not sure. But my hand was pretty poor opening hand. So pause. His hand's pretty nice actually. He doesn't have a hand trap, which is absolutely fine against a deck like SHADDOLL's. I don't think Sky Striker really needs any hand traps because they really don't like lose to Winda like other decks do. And like on top of that, outside of Winda, it's like what really can this deck put up that like hurts SHADDOLL's? I mean that hurts Sky Strikers. You know what I mean? So I think Sky Strikers have a pretty good matchup against dolls. My hand, I have like one hand trap. I have Valor. The big problem with this hand is I didn't draw any one of my 15 fusion starters. And as you guys can see, I am testing the one of Golden Lord in the list. I switched out the damage juggler for the Lord, and so I'm just playing like Trick Clown and Golden Lord to be like the powerful targets to send off of SHADDOLL fusion. His hand, he has like 3 ways to access Ray. So that's like that's crazy. That's a bit too. That's like overkill on the Ray. He has Pot of Desires and he has Widow Anchor. I think I'm going first though. So I'm just gonna fast forward a bit because my turn's not gonna be that impressive. I'm just gonna set Windy and pass. There's no interactions here for me right now for that Desire, so he's just gonna hit it off. He's gonna normal Ray and then bring out Rose. Go straight in the battle phase. He's gonna attack Windy. I decide to special summon Hedgehog because I can already see a Sky Striker link coming out. So I special Hedgehog so that like if he attacks into it, I search Fusion. In this play, he decides not to attack the Hedgehog, which was pretty smart. I think he wanted to wait until like I flip it so he can Widow Anchor it. That way, like it's cool because you can't Widow it. You cannot Widow Anchor in damage step, even if he didn't have monsters in his main zone. And like that's when it would happen when the Hedgehog gets flipped up. So like he was pretty smart on that play. I think him normaling Ray and busting out Rose. I don't know if you should have brought out the Rose that early. Like it wasn't necessary, but he did what he did. I'm gonna fast forward a bit more now. He's just gonna tag Ray. He's just gonna do some normal Sky Striker plays here. Hayate, you know, he's just gonna send area. If I was him, I personally would have sent multi-roll over the area 0, so that I can get my shiz play with multi-roll. And whenever I search off shiz, I'd set it off multi-roll. But he wanted to get area 0, and he whiffed off of it. Then he goes into Zeke. He doesn't banish the Hedgehog with Zeke, surprisingly. Truth be told, if he would have summoned Zeke and used his effect to banish Hedgehog, I would have Veilored there because I need Hedgehog. It's like, before I top decked this Sprite for Patchwork, I didn't have a fusion play except for Hedgehog. So this was kind of like, this is like my bread and butter right here. Like, I didn't have anything else going for myself. And like right now, I think he has, just one Spell Engrave. So spells aren't as lethal as they can be yet. So I start off with the Patchwork. Just going to fast forward to this because he doesn't have anything to stop the Patchwork. And so instead of like automatically just jumping into a fusion, I decided to just flip the Hedgehog right then and there because that's a lot of pressure. This Hedgehog is a lot of pressure on him right now because if he does not interrupt this Hedgehog, I just get a SHADDOLL fusion and he doesn't have an Ash Blossom or a Judgment. So nothing would stop the fusion from resolving. Like he can nib me, but I'm just going to get so much advantage through the nib. Like so much recursion that the nib will normally not be like a 1-for-1 trade out. He'll trade 1 card and I'll get like 2 or 3 cards back to hand off the nib. So when I flip the Hedgehog, I think it's going to force out the Widow. Yeah, so he's going to Widow there. Then I'm going to activate Poly. I'm going to send the Lord in the Construct. And I send Lord and Squamata to summon Construct. So here, like, if he Widows, I still get a send. But I think he wanted to hold the Widow. So he was holding the Widow, but I decided to send Dragon. And I also decided to send, what else did I send? Because I get 2 sends. Oh, okay, I sent SHADDOLL Fusion and Dragon. I see what I did there. Since he Widow Anchored my Hedgehog to get access to SHADDOLL Fusion, I decided to dump it off of Construct to get it that way. And then I sent the Dragon So Squamata and Construct both sent a SHADDOLL card. It didn't matter how it resolved in the chain link. One of them was going to get sent. He didn't use Widow on the Construct. Like I said, I guess he was holding it. He probably didn't think I was going to send Dragon, but I just wanted to get it out the way because the only thing I had to worry about now is just the nib. So it's just like the double anchor and the nib is the only thing he has to like hold me at bay right now. So press and play. And then I'm going to normal summon the Edgem Chain. And I decided to take a huge step here. I went into Celine. He already has 3 spells engraved. So at this decided he has to have nib or he's just going to like get put so far behind. He could potentially lose because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be summoning Access Code Talker before I activate SHADDOLL Fusion. So I'll be able to get multiple pops. Even like though right now I won't have any more than just the 1 link. Thing is, like when I summon access code, I'll be able to use that SHADDOLL Fusion to make more link plays because I still have access to cards like my, oh, it's not showing my extra deck. I still have access to Cross Sheep and the link too. So like just that amount of pressure, what I wanted to do was just like put that pressure on him. Like let's see if he has the nib and if he doesn't. So the plays that I made here, I basically forced him to nib me before I resolved SHADDOLL Fusion, which I preferred because I could play through the nib because I already have Beast in hand, and the nib would give me a light token. So just by busting out Celine and access code, not only was it going to put a lot of pressure on him to make sure that I can push through whatever he has left, but also it puts him in a bind where like if he has nib, he has to use it like now. If he doesn't use nib on the resolution of access code Talker's effect to gain, I get to use access code to pop something before he nibs, so he's going to lose more cards at that. So press and play. I'm going to fast forward. She's going to gain all her counters, but I do get some graveyard effects of Chain and Construct. I chain block with them. I get SHADDOLL Fusion, then I use Celine to bring back Squamata, go into access code, and he's going to nib me after that. And so now by him nibbing me, it really helped me out too. I didn't know he had another raid, but it made it to where I don't have to like trade 2 cards or 2 attacks or 2 spot removals to deal with Shiz and the tag out effective raid, you know what I mean? And that also really helped because if case basically like, you know, Rose would have came out later, it could have really hurt me. But I'm pretty sure because Nib hit my access code that he can actually use Rose from grave because her effect does say if an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect, you know, you could bring this card out. So I'm pretty sure he should be bringing out the Rose because that is the correct play to make. The thing is, like if he doesn't, like it's totally fine, but just bringing out the Rose is going to protect him because if case I could push through the nib, you just need that extra body so that you don't get OTK'd. So I do think that he's supposed to Rose, but actually he didn't, never mind. So I'm just going to resolve SHADDOLL Fusion now, and what I'm going to be doing is just fusing with the Beast and the token that Nib gave me. And I'm going to resolve Construct and Beast, so Beast drew the core. I dump Incarnation, I set the core, and I send it off Lord. It doesn't get this effect because it's sent by cost and not card effect. I link both of those in a cross sheet, get my Incarnation back, set it on his draw phase, Incarnation for Construct, and cross sheet chain blocking, bring back the Squamata, send the Aerial, and I attack his grave. I take care of the Widows and the Ray. Now, I didn't know he had another Ray in his hand, but I didn't mess with Rose. I just took him down to 1 spell. And I also dealt with the Widow so that they won't be recurable. So, like, right now he's playing with only 1 Widow Anchor. So, like, Aerial's, like, really good right here. And I decided to do it in draw phase, you know, like, and you also keep in mind when you have the chance to play around talents, you do it. You play around talents. So, you all those effects in the draw phase. You don't just wait for your opponent to do something and try to like interrupt them with the rest, because you can use rest that way where like let's say, you know, your opponent decides to put another better card in grave after that, then you can use the Construct to dump Aerial, or you could dump Dragon to pop another back row, you know what I mean? You could make a lot of plays just off summoning Construct on your opponent's turn, but you have to do it in draw phase if you want to play around talents. So now, like, he has Desires, he's going to send it off Aerial if it doesn't whiff, and he has, like, Ray. So he's getting his Striker engine started all over again, even though he, like, nibbed me. So he hits his final Anchor off of that, which is, like, super sacky. Sends that Desires, he's back to 2 spells in grave. Ray's going to beat over the Cross Sheep. He's going to bust out Rose, and then he's going to Hayate. So yeah, that was smart, because he needs multi-roll. I would have had multi-roll. If I was him, I would have multi-roll turn 1. So like pause, he kinda's my Construct. Now he has Widow Anchor, Duster is a bluff. I ended up popping this, I think, like missing my target, and then basically not missing my target, but targeting the wrong card. Basically now like he has multi-roll, he's about to go into shiz. I don't have anything. He knows I don't have anything. He should know that I searched this off of chain. So like he could just play solitaire. So he's gonna go shiz, get shark cannon in phase, and he's still before he resolves multi-roll. He's gonna banish my lord. That takes a piece of pressure off of him because that lord was definitely coming back out the grave next turn as 35. I was just going to use it to put more pressure on the board, and it's also a light material, which is like super important. So him banishing that really hurt me, and he gets to set the shark. So now he has widow, and he has shark, and he has roll, he has shiz. So after that last trade out where he lost both his widows and he nibbed his own Sky Striker link, he's back with all of his striker plays all over again. So like he just pretty much just reset his board. So now I'm just going to start patchwork, get my chain, get my poly. So funny enough, right here, when I activate polymerization, I think a huge misplay for him, if I was him, even though like, you know, like I shouldn't be like trying to help my opponent, I didn't. Personally, if I was him, I would have chained, because I'm pretty sure, let me make sure, I'm not, before I say this, let me just make sure. Yeah, he has 3 spells engraved. He does. Yeah, because I popped the duster, you know, like I thought it was something, it's just not. Like I popped the duster. I forgot what I popped it, but clearly it's in the grave, so I got rid of the duster. I'm trying to remember what I did. But like right here when I activate Poly, since he has 3 spells in grave, 100,000% you chain Widow Anchor to take the construct. That's just what you do. And you force your opponent to summon a Winda. And what would happen then is I would summon a Winda and I'd use Squamata, and I would have to use Squamata to send something that I can get value off of. So like at that point with Resh being engraved, I would have to send Windy and then use Windy the special aerial and get punished by a Widow Anchor. So I mean not Widow Anchor, but the Shark Cannon. Well, technically it wouldn't hurt too much because of Resh, but I just really think he was supposed to use the Widow Anchor right here, which he didn't. So like he definitely got punished by that. So I'm gonna use Construct and Squamata and the Construct engraved. So like he got really trigger happy here. So he just decided. I mean, truth be told, this is a good play. He decides to Shark Cannon my access code because he can still use this like to pop cards. He has quite a few links engraved, and he Widow Anchors the Construct when he should have Widowed the one that I had on field before I fusioned it to another one. Because now Construct on field got me fusion back from grave. And Squamata got to send a Windy, which special summoned the aerial face down, and guess what's in my grave? Incarnation. So this is like really bad for him. Like yeah, I am gonna definitely play through the Widow and the Shark. And then on top of that, like, you know, this access code, I have to get rid of this right now. If I don't, it's gonna be a huge threat for me. Like look at his grave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 4 flipping pops right there. 5 pops actually. He has 5 pops out that 100% have to out that access code right now or I'm gonna lose hard. So fast forwarding here. So I'm just gonna activate SHADDOLL Fusion. I decided to bust out Op Cologne or Al Capone. I sent Falco for recovery because I'm pretty low on resources. I need to get my construct back and get some more recovery plays. So I dumped Kyle's for a different attribute because I don't want to waste Windy or Aerial. Like I want to keep these in rotation. These are gonna help me with my grind right now. I sent Falco so I can have better recovery plays off the fusion. I'm gonna bust out Al Capone right here. So he's going to hit the field, and obviously I'm going to target the smartest card. I'm going to go after the multi-roll. That's the smartest play here. You could target access code, but I can just beat over him. So I go right after the multi-roll so that he doesn't get to recover, you know, his Widow and his Shark on his in phase. Not even his Shark. That got banished. So now Falco's getting set. You know, I'm resolving my chain link. I'm going to fast forward here, and then I'm going to use Resh to banish constructs, flip the aerial, summon another construct. And what I do, I summon the construct from Banish Zone, then I send my other Resh, because I'm going to recover this off my plays. So now what I'm doing here is a pretty smart play. I know that Shiz is decreasing the attack of my monsters, so I can only attack over one monster right now, being like Al Capone could beat over access code. But I also wanted to deal with his Sky Striker links, because I just didn't want him to go Kagari or Hayate next turn for more recovery. Like, it's just going to be so annoying for me. So I decided to summon Dweller with Aerial, so it has the attack boost. So it's at 22 minus 1, 2, 3, 4. He's at 18. So Dweller attack over Shiz. And I also summoned Dweller so that I could stop Ray from coming back and Rose from coming back as well. which is like super cool. So now what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to go ahead and just attack over Shiz and use Al Capone to attack over Access Code. I don't have to worry about Construct because she's coming back to me. My baby's coming back to me at end phase. I go Gravity Controller, grab Core from Grave, use Core's effect to get Resh, and then I just pass. On his draw phase, again, see? And this time he did draw talents. That's what I was telling you guys. You activated on draw phase, play around talents. I send another aerial. People think I'm crazy for playing 3 aerials, but look at how much work aerial puts in for me. So now I'm going to attack his grave yet again. And this time, what do I target here? Oh yeah, I chained Dweller to it as well. That's what I was doing. I chained Dweller, and I'm pretty sure I went after, yeah. So, I went after Rose, Widow, and Ray. So now he has no more Widows. So you guys see what I did there? Like with Ariel, Ariel put in so much work against these strikers because I was banishing Ray and Widows, and like their graveyard does matter. Like they have crazy recovery. And so now, like, see, you know, I explained to him because he tried to activate talents on draw 2, and I said, no, I activated it in your draw phase. I also literally clicked draw phase. Like, look, it says DP. Oh, we're going to go to it. Right here. Think on DP. That means think on draw phase. He said anything question mark. And I was just saying checking before I make my move because I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't out of aerial. So I checked my grave and banished on. I was like, alright, I got one more aerial in my deck. So I sent my 3rd copy of aerial. And then, you know, obviously I did that play that I made. He tried to talent me. I explained to him he couldn't, so he lost there. Because there's nothing he can do. His multi-rolls negated, his aerial's probably going to whiff, and I just have way too much. Way too much. And on top of that, I kept him at, like, I put him in a situation where he was constantly having less than 3 spells in his grave because I kept banishing his cards. So, like, I just did that. Every play I made, I feel like was correct in that in game 1. So I'm going to fast forward, going to game 2. So now, his opening hand, he's going first. So my theory behind this for side decking against Sky Strikers is pretty much the same. No matter how smart or how you know, average the Sky Striker player is, I make the same side decking strategy every time. I side in back row removal for going second, even if I go first, and if I draw one of those cards, I don't commit. Another good thing about not committing against Strikers, think about it this way. What do Shark Cannon and Widow do when you don't have cards in grave and you don't have monsters on field? So it's a lot harder for Sky Strikers to OTK you because they use your monsters more than often to do it. Even if they have access to Ray and a normal summon tuner to go into Hulk, they still have to get 3 spells in grave for Celine to go into access code. Then they still need more than 2600 damage to OTK you. So I'm safe no matter what. He can't OTK me. Like, he literally has to have like a very, very unrealistic scenario to OTK me. So as soon as I saw the Lightning Storm, I decided to patchwork, and basically that also made it look like I'm trying to make a play, but I'm really not. So I just like patchwork. And on top of that, keep in mind I don't even have a SHADDOLL yet. I don't even bother to set SHADDOLL core, so that way I could, like, you know, flip it on my turn to use it as a fusion material. I don't even think I did that. I'm pretty sure I just didn't. I just passed. So I'm just gonna fast forward here because I think I just patchwork and then I pass. I think for future reference, the one thing I could have done different, because like he doesn't really have back row removal anyways, I should have just set the core knowing that I'm going to need to make a play next turn to have this Lightning Storm be like impactful, meaning Lightning Storm with the follow-up, not just Lightning Storm pass, you know what I mean? So I should have set the SHADDOLL core so that my Lightning Storm could be more impactful, just so that I can flip a construct, you know, of Poly, the core, which would be a substitute, or a SHADDOLL monster itself, because it is a SHADDOLL monster. And on top of that, like, I have a light attribute. So, you know, I should have just set core, but I think the top deck was clutch. So he's just going to hit me with Hayate. And then he's going to guard back the multi-roll. That's correct. I always go for multi-roll first. And then he goes terraforming for Mystic Mine. I feel like 100,000% you just don't do that. You don't terraforming for Mystic Mine. You don't even give your opponent the information that you have access to Mystic Mine right now. 100%, you just keep terraforming in your hand and you don't even activate it until your next turn. So when he, but also when he did that and searched Mystic Mine, I now had to put myself on a timer where I'm on the clock. I have 1 turn to get as much damage as I possibly can because he can't deck me out. I'm on 60 and he has multi-roll, so now I'm really in trouble because anytime he summons a Hayate, he can multi-roll it away and he can just keep poking for direct damage. I mean, like, he only will probably have 2 Hayates, but the fact is, like, I'm on the clock now that he just showed me he has Mystic Mind. So press and play. Fast forward. I need any shit all. So Mathman was good enough. I Lightning Storm for every single back row he had. So Lightning Storm hit Imperm, Shark Cannon, and the multi-roll. Because there's another Imperm face down, which is like super huge because Imperm don't care about chain block, and all he has is area and Mystic Mind. So 100,000% I have OTK. So what I'm gonna do now, this is OTK. He can't stop this. So Mathman's gonna get Hog is gonna go ahead and get Windy, and this is it. Like, this is the equivalent of resolving Shaddol Fusion. So like, he just scoops. He asked me if I got OTK. I said we'll see if you have something, but yes, and I'm not lying. So what you do here with this play is you basically use Windy and Construct, your standard play. You send Incarnation and you send you special summon Aerial. And then obviously you take Mathman and Construct, link those in the cross sheep. You go ahead and use Resh and Construct, banish them, flip the Aerial, summon Construct to Cross Sheep Zone, go ahead and get Construct to then send El Shaddol Fusion, and the next thing you do is obviously your chain block, you use the Cross Sheep to bring back the Hedgehog, and what you're going to do here is you're going to go ahead and use the Hedgehog, and basically you're going to use the Hedgehog and the Cross Sheep to go ahead and go into Selene. And you know, you're just gonna do your play, go into access code. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into access code, and then you're gonna be able to flip El Shaddol Fusion in battle phase, and you're just gonna clean your opponent up, which is like it's a pretty nifty play. So this was like the equivalent of having a Shaddol Fusion. The only difference was this driver wasn't a Trick Clown, which probably would have made it even more overkill. But absolutely, you can game just off of this play right here. Mathman, just searching for Windy, basically summoning Construct. He was like super strong in this deck, as you guys can see. So it was a clean 2-0. Definitely respect to the Sky Striker player, and also at the same time, you guys get to see you know, Shaddol's basically putting in work. Like, this deck is still good. I think it's great. I know some people might not agree with me. I love this deck so much. This is such a good sleeper deck because, like, when all the attention was on Shaddol's, when it was like one of the best decks back in like February, people were talking about banning Winda, Alistair needs to be banned, Meldon needs to be banned, Shaddol Fusion needs to be touched, Construct. People were complaining about how degenerate this deck is, and it's so funny how people think it's bad now, which is a great thing because, you know, you don't have to worry about Shaddol's getting hit on the ban list or anything like that. So like, if you guys want a rogue deck that can actually like do stuff like, which is extremely meta viable, I definitely recommend picking up Shaddolls. This is such a good deck. It's so rewarding, it's so skillful, and it's extremely fun. It's definitely worth it, you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna say a quick prayer, and that's gonna end this video. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Lord Jesus Christ. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Lord, please give us this day our daily bread, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Father, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I pray. Thank you, Father. Amen. All right, peace.